Welcome one and all to the PSDOVITO podcast. This is number 9 and this one is totally random. Ain't that right, Mr. Random Geezer?
Why is there a third person here then? My name's Dan, otherwise known as Robert Rage. That's who I am. I'm not some random dude.
He's not a random dude, that's true. I didn't shoot you that time, no.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is Far Cry. Normally we stand here and just stare at each other, sort of thing. Like, we thought we've got a bit boring, so we thought we'd try and come out here and you could watch some animals. There's an alligator. I know he's dead now, isn't he? There's an elephant. Right, and we're gonna see if an elephant has a fight with an alligator or anything.
It killed a dude, but that's only fair.
Oh, it did kill an innocent man who I think might still be out there. I don't know, his body, no, I can't. His body's gone. Maybe one of the fish at him. There's some killer fish in it. They do though, don't they? They do.
Yeah.
Right, this is a random podcast, so I think we might be a bit more random in our approach to what we do with it. Dan, anything interesting caught your eye this week, you know, or in the news, on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that?
Am I allowed to talk about that? I don't know if I'm allowed.
Nah,
oh, come on, let me go there. Go on.
Nah, it's bad, man. It's bad for business.
Oh man. Alright then, I won't go there. I don't know really, mate. That's the funniest thing I've seen all week.
Yeah. I mean, you can say it without saying it, you know what I mean? But then that's not really the way things are done, are they? If you say something, you should say what you mean. But
that's it, yeah.
If you ain't,
I didn't want to just say it without sort of, you know what I mean? I know you would have just cut it out or whatever anyway, but...
That's it. If you got nothing nice to say, don't say it, sort of thing. So...
Well, yeah. There's being nice, and then there's just being completely honest with somebody, but yeah.
Yeah. Different perspectives though, ain't it, mate? It's like, from certain perspectives you go,
no,
but then you go on the other side of the
one,
fence, don't you, you know?
It's just one person's perspective, and only one person on their own side of the freaking fence. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm telling ya. And everyone else is just nice because that's what people do.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's move on before we say too much.
I just shot a fish, but it didn't work though. I think angle of refraction came into play there.
That wasn't just... Oh man, I'll keep going on, but I ain't give a fuck. That was a mixture of emotions, to be fair. But yeah, that's it. I'm done with that now. It just wasn't just funny. It pissed me off at the same time as well. So
yeah. Yeah, well that's it, when you think the work people put in, you know, and what could be.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
It's a piss take, it really is.
Well, it was, yeah, it is.
And it goes against, like, my belief system on this, on that, if you like, you know. If you don't put yourself above the other people, you know, you're their leader, so to
just
speak.
Because you can.
Yeah, you're their leader, so you lead and you build your army and you make your army strong and you be proud of your soldiers. You don't go, no, I'm the boss, and you can fucking just bum around. And you know, and I'm gonna put all the medals on my fucking chest, you know, I'm gonna be the captain of the fucking everything. It's
Yeah, it's a proper piss take.
it's understandable in certain situations, you know, when it's needed, and when that captain is worthy of being the captain, being the sergeant. You know, when it's like, no, we need him to be our sergeant right now. We need him to have all the medals on our chest.
He's not got that in him to be that leader.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be... oh, it's hard to say without saying it.
But again, mate, let's not, because it's not nice, you know.
No, it's just us kind of...
That's just...
well, you know...
it's just personal...
a little bit.
Just personal opinion, and that's the way it should stay. Personal conversation. You know, people can do what they do, and it's not. You know, they work hard at the same time. With
something up that's been around for years, and so be it, eh?
Yeah, at the same time, we know they work hard, and we respect that much. We know, you know, what goes into it, and that. So, you know, we don't do that on a fucking weekly basis, so
no, true enough.
You know, respect's enough for that.
Yep, I'm not justifying that decision though. There's no justifying that decision.
No.
It's just a bad decision. Bad move.
You know what else is a bad move?
What's that?
He's doing a tombstone from a ladder.
Why, have you actually seen someone do that?
Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere.
Alright.
I think it got posted on Facebook.
Is it one that fucks up, or is it one that they pull off? Because I don't really want to watch it if they fuck it up.
Well, I don't exactly pull it off, but yeah, it's bad. It's not like, you know what I mean, it's just, yeah. Whatever, it's a tombstone off. It's a tombstone off a ladder, and it wasn't done professionally, you know. It was done by a couple of lads. Yeah, it was on Facebook a while back. I assume it's on YouTube, right? Most stuff is. Yeah, but it's just a couple of fucking lads going, fucking yeah, we can do sick shit, but you know, there was no consideration.
Is it in a ring?
Yeah, I believe so. I think I've seen them, a couple of people do some sick shit off of something really high that they shouldn't have done, and it weren't on into the ring either. I've seen loads of shit.
That is ridiculous.
Have you just watched that?
No, I'm watching it now, but fucking hell.
Yeah.
That is... oh, mate. It's a bit bloody silly, all that.
Yeah, so Dan, your opinion of what is happening in that video. Could you explain to us in more detail, like, you know, give us a little play-by-play on it rather than what I basically said, you know, that was from memory.
Well, it's two guys. One who was receiving the tombstone seemed to be a pretty big dude, and the one doing the tombstone seemed to be a pretty small dude. So that, to me, straight away is like, that's not the right... that's fucking stupid, fucking tombstone off a ladder, behave yourself.
You'd have to be...
It's stupidity.
Yeah.
It's doing something just for the sake of doing it, just to get a, oh wow, just for that fucking 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Probably after quite a shit match.
Yeah. Well, if the Undertaker, right, found the fountain of youth, right, so he got in, like, back into youthful shape, but retained all of his knowledge from now, like, this is a guy that should be able to expertly do a tombstone, yeah, now, and he's in the best conditioning that he's ever been in. Like, he's at the peak of what he was in, yeah.
Yeah.
And you said to him, "Do you want to tombstone me from halfway up the ladder?" I reckon he'd probably say, "I don't know about that, mate." At the very least.
I don't think he would do it.
No, I don't think he would.
You're talking about someone who's been around 30 odd years.
Yeah.
That's a long fucking career. And that's a lot of knowledge, and that's a lot of everything that goes into being a pro wrestler and being one of the greatest.
Alright,
You know?
say the same exact thing happened to Shawn Michaels, found in the youth, went back to his peak condition but had all the knowledge he's got now, yeah?
Mm.
And someone said to him, an Undertaker, how to feel about tombstoning him off of a ladder. Right? Now you've got the two guys that would be in perfect thing about to pull that off. If, right? I still think they would go, what you talking about, mate? What you asking us to do?
Yeah, it's something that could go horribly wrong, and it's the end of someone's life potentially, and that's just something you don't fuck with.
Hmm.
It's alright on an independent show because they're not contracted wrestlers that are worth a lot of money.
It's not alright on an independent show. It's fucking
Well,
worse.
alright, I'm not alright. Fair enough. That was wrong
If
phrase of words. It's more acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not alright. It's not something I personally want to see. But moments like that only really happen on. Don't see much of it in WWE anymore, if at all.
Yeah.
Stuff you see in independents.
I like high risk, I like hardcore, I like all that extreme style, deathmatch style wrestling. I like all that when it's done right by people that are smart enough to know how to do it. You know?
Yeah. It was a wrong choice to move as well. A tombstone is just such a risky move.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, any move off the top of a ladder is going to be a risk.
Yeah. Hence the reason it's called high risk move.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I'd quite happily watch an hardcore match or a death match, you know, or whatever. So I see quite a few of them over here, on our promotions, but even going back to all the old, all the old Japanese death matches that were proper brutal, proper sick, you know. It's like I can watch all that and I can enjoy that as a form of professional wrestling. It's not what I would want to watch every single time I watched wrestling, but it's the same as anything. It's people like us can go, oh, I'm not a big fan of that dude because he's not our style of wrestler. We like a technician who's a good psychologist. That's more or less breaks down what we like, yeah? But I like a bit of an high flyer, you know. I'm a massive Pillman fan, Brian Pillman fan, always have been, always will be. You know, he's one of my top dudes. And, Shawn Michaels flew about a bit. I'm partial to a bit of flying. I like Will Ospreay. I think he's fucking brilliant at what he does.
Mate, because then you mix the two together and it's just magic.
Yeah.
Because you had, just for example, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12, you've got the technical submission guy versus the high flying, will take more risks.
Yeah.
Bit younger, bit more flamboyant, you know.
Yeah.
So.
But that was the great story with that, is going into it, the whole deal was Michaels is gonna out high fly him, and Michaels went in there and wrestled, and he did do some high flying spots obviously, but the story he told was, no, I'm not gonna use my high risk arsenal to beat him, I'm gonna use my wrestling for the most part.
Yeah, and also it was a smart thing to do that as well, because he might have burnt himself out too quickly.
Yeah, of course.
You have to sort of compose yourself if you're going to go over an hour.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. That's the thing.
I think as well, that what makes that match so good is because it's that personal thing with Bret, and that chip on his shoulder,
Yeah.
And you could just tell through that the whole thing, Bret ain't entirely happy what's going to happen, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do this, but
it gave it that edge though, didn't it? That match had that edge.
Oh yeah.
but they're both
Definitely.
total pros and fucking work one of the best WWE matches of all time.
Yeah.
WWF matches, WWE, it's, you know, whatever you want to
Never
call
to
it.
be repeated, mate. That one.
No. You know, I've seen some fucking amazing matches, Japanese and like British and stuff like that, and it's like, you know, and it's a massive part of what we watched growing up. Like our wrestling education was American wrestling for a long time, you know, and we did watch the Japanese stuff, but it wasn't as frequent as the American wrestling, and you know that's why a lot of what we say.
I didn't watch hardly any of that until like maybe 10 years ago.
Yes,
Japanese wrestling, and you've been watching it like on and off for years now, haven't you? So
yeah, from like when I was a teenager, like,
Mm.
like a young teenager, sort of 13 at least,
yeah,
you know. But by that time, I'd been brainwashed for how many years on WWF, and like I knew obviously World of Sport stuff, but that had been off of the TV, so there was like a video, or a few videos my dad had that I watched a few times, but at that age, from like being 6 to 12, like that World of Sport stuff wasn't as entertaining. It weren't as comic book. I was a kid. I was into He-Man and fucking Superman and shit like that, and that's what the difference was. But I could still sit there and watch that old stuff, and I thought it was great. And that I think was the basis of why I like technical wrestling, because I was started on World of Sport, even though
Mm.
growing up I never watched massive amounts of it other than what my dad had on these couple of videos.
they're the sort of guys that should be there at like training. They're the sort of guys that should be training other wrestlers.
Yeah.
Have like one of them guys, and then like just the younger guys been around for a little while. You know what I mean? Like Gal, for example.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Have Gal and like Johnny Kidd.
yeah.
You can't ask for a perfect mix of wrestling, really.
No, well that's it. A few of them do, don't they? You know, Johnny Kidd's got a seminar with drop kicks coming up. He's got a seminar with IBW coming up.
Yeah.
You know, he's like Johnny Kidd's about, and you know, there's a few others that go around doing
He's the sort
stuff
of
still.
person I'd want to get more than once though. Like, you know what I mean? If I was running a training school or whatever, I would
Mm.
try and get him in a few times. Like,
Yeah, but that's the thing. Those World of Sport guys, there's still a few of them about. Yeah, there's still enough of them about to get for the modern generation to still gain a ton of knowledge and a ton of understanding, and you know it's a lot. Don't get me wrong, that is why British wrestling is so great now, because they take what they know, they take what they do, but we never forget our roots. We never forget what made British wrestling so great in the first place, you know, and we take that, and there's a respect for that generation, you know, massive respect for that generation. It's like what match did I watch the other day with my dad? Bloody hell. Steve Gray versus Johnny Saint. I watched the other day with my dad. Yeah, well, we've had a few matches obviously, but we watched one of the older ones. And the finish was Mal Mason got crossbodied, like one of them went for a crossbody, the other guy ducked, they hit Mal Mason fell out of the ring, and obviously being back in them days that was a massive deal, so the referee was out and the match was called a draw, like, but what these guys did for 10 minutes was brilliant, you know. And then I went to my dad, alright, you know what I mean, that is amazing, I love that stuff, what was there. I said, now look at the evolution, yeah. I'll say this is an evolution, and we watched Zack Sabre Jr. and Marty Skell from IPW's Super 8, yeah. 21 minutes the video is, so a bit of a longer match than the Johnny Saint and Steve Gray one, I went, look at these guys, look, this is evolution. These are two guys, yeah, that have not forgot that stuff that we just watched, you know, the old stuff. These guys, and he watched it and he was amazed. He was like, no, they are fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
British wrestling is one of the best styles of wrestling in the world, hands down. And that, I believe, is why I'm such a fan of the technical wrestling, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what's your favourite wrestling match of all time, right? And it doesn't have to be because it was technical. I mean, for some people, it's Undertaker and Mankind at Hell in a Cell. For some people, it's the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys in a ladder match. You know, for some people, it's Rock and Austin at WrestleMania the second or third time, or even the first time, but whatever. You know, what is your favourite wrestling match of all time?
There's a few, to be honest. It ain't just, I can't just pick one, because like one of the first ones that came into mind was Stevie and Crash on Heat.
Mm.
Just because, like, by that point, I fucking loved both of them, and like was kind of cheering both, sort of thing.
Yeah,
But was just enjoying it for what it was like.
yeah,
Obviously, Shawn Michaels, Bret, WrestleMania 12, Bret versus Perfect, SummerSlam, and King of the Ring.
yeah,
Kurt Hennig versus Nick Bockwinkel. You know, the Iron Man match, and, well, the one that goes the 1 hour time limit, and their other
Yeah.
match.
yeah. Both very good matches.
Just the other week, it's just like, you know, it's just an endless list, really, of favourite matches. There's no real, like SummerSlam, 92, Bret and Bulldog.
Yeah, yeah,
The first Hell in a Cell match of Michaels and Taker. That for me was quite a significant one, because that was like, that was fucking Kane and that was it.
mm.
Shawn pretty much fucked off a couple of months later. And I liked Kane because, well, I just do. We share some of the same characteristics.
Yeah. Well, you're both ugly and yeah.
That's it. Yeah, both ugly. That's it. Thanks, mate.
Yeah. I don't know. I run it. I didn't want to insult you too badly.
I'm ugly, like.
Well, it's one of the basics, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, just go with that. You know, like you smell, or you're ugly, or it's one of the basics, mate. I didn't want to be mean.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. See, like I'll go on about. Obviously, I always say my favourite all-time wrestler is Kurt Hennig. Yeah.
Mm.
But one of the massive influences on me, and one of the things that truly changed my perception, like from being that Ultimate Warrior, Hulkamaniac, like mindless masses type kid, you know, to going, hold on, I've got an appreciation for something else, you know. I always had that because I always liked the psychologists, you know, the psychology guys. I didn't like them because they were bad guys, but I always went, they're fucking brilliant, and they'd be the ones I was doing impressions of, and the ones I was when I played wrestling with my friends in the back garden, or in the bedroom or whatever when we were kids, you know. I was always $1 Million Man. I was always Jake the Snake, you know. I was always the bad guy because they're the ones I thought were brilliant. I was always Macho King. I fucking loved being Macho King, you know. But I didn't like them because they were the bad guys, you know. I was a Hulkamaniac. I was Ultimate Warrior. I was Texas Tornado and the British Bulldog, and all these sort of guys, you know, Big Boss Man, people like that. And then it was WCW watching Brian Pillman and going, that's me, that's what I like. That was the thing, that was what made me go, hold on, Hulk Hogan don't do fuck all compared to that geezer, basically, you know. I'm probably about 11 by this point, maybe 12, more 11 I think. And I'm like, yeah, Hulk Hogan ain't fucking nothing on this geezer. This geezer's miles better than him. That was my thinking then. I was like, look what this the guy does, you know. And from now, I started like putting that psychology of the bad guys that I loved so much with realising that when I'm watching DiBiase, when I'm watching Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect and these guys, they're fucking miles better than Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Texas Tornado. You know, not so much British Bulldog. He's one of them. He's one of the fucking greats. You know.
Yeah.
But these other guys that done fuck all compared to what these other guys done, and I'm like, hold on a minute. And that is when I changed. You know. That is when I lost the mindless masses mindset. And Brian Pillman for me is crucial to what has shaped my initial thinking on pro wrestling, you know. Guys like DiBiase, Jake the Snake, Kurt Hennig, they shaped what my perception of wrestling should be. And that's what I was from 11, 12 years old. Like say, even going back younger than that, you know, like 8, 9, when everyone's running around the playground, some people were like, oh, we're all Hulk Hogan, you know, and I'm like, alright, well, I'll be Randy Savage, I'll be Macho King, you know.
Yeah.
I still, back then I got it, I still thought these are the better guys to be when you're playing wrestling in the school playground. It's better to be the Macho King. Hulk Hogan just fucking does this and that. Macho King, I can jump off of this, I can jump off of that, and I can go, ooh, yeah, all that. And what's that geezer do? Big boots me, leg drops me, and waves his hand next to his ear. Well done, fella. No, nothing against Hogan. Exactly. Hogan is the fucking, as I say, the golden goose. He is the fucking, what he did was fuck all, and he done it for so many years, and it fucking worked. You know? John Cena, like, I'm not saying I'm a John Cena fan. I don't watch WWE. I don't watch modern American wrestling so much. I watch a bit of the NXT because they take people like Finn Balor and people like that over there, Prince Devitt, and you know, Nikki Storm's on there, blah blah blah. I think we've said all this in previous podcasts, but like John Cena, all I hear is he gets a load of fucking flack, but he works. He's a company man through and through. He does what he's supposed to do, and from what I can see, he does a fucking shit ton more than Hulk Hogan ever did.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Like,
definitely. So even his promo work is better.
So I mean, you know, I don't know. There's Hulk Hogan, massive respect for the man, no doubt. I was a Hulkamaniac for years. I wore a crucifix around my neck.
Hulk Hogan, people like John Cena wouldn't exist.
Exactly. Hulk Hogan is the, like, the cave painting. If the world ever goes to shit and there's a painting of a professional wrestler drawn on a wall, it'll be Hulk Hogan, probably. You know? So, mate, right? Like I say, I don't watch a lot of modern WWE wrestling. Yeah, I stopped about 2003, pretty much. Like, and I'd phasing out over the couple of year period leading up to that. Um, I've seen bits. I know people are. I know Dolph Ziggler and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. I know a lot of people are. I've seen stuff. I'm not completely ignorant to it, but
Mm.
comparing the modern professional wrestlers, talking about evolution, yeah, I'll go back to Steve Gray and Johnny Saint, yeah, and then I went evolution, Zack Sabre Jr. and Marty Scurll. Now that's fair, I think. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's fair to say that's an evolution. Yeah, and that's those guys are as good, if not better, perhaps, maybe not. I'm not saying, but as those old guys, right? Now, in a modern WWE world, yeah, who's as good as Macho Man Randy Savage? Who's as good as Ted DiBiase? Who's as good as Jake the Snake? Who's as good as Kurt Hennig, Brian Pillman, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker? And the list goes on. There are some incredible. Look, the Mountie, for fuck's sake. Like, what a psychology guy. How he could work a crowd, There's loads. Who on the modern roster in the last 5, 10, 15 years even is as good as those guys? That's broad. I mean, yeah, you can throw people like Edge and that in there, but Eddie Guerrero, people like that.
No, I don't chuck those names in there.
But if we no, it's saying as but they're from, you consider them that generation. So if we go say the last 5 years.
Not even Edge or Eddie Guerrero are as great as those other guys you just mentioned. There isn't anybody that is as good as the Macho Man or Jake the Snake or Roddy Piper or Brian Pillman.
I've got to say Eddie Guerrero is probably the best professional, all-round professional
You said
wrestler.
5 years, that's more what I'm going with, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's say the more 5 years. Eddie Guerrero is probably the best professional wrestler of all time, all-rounder, who could do everything. Psychology, fucking promos, wrestling, high-flying, technical power. Eddie Guerrero was fucking spot on in that ring, and he's not my favourite wrestler of all time, but he's definitely one of the fucking best. But yeah, go with the last 5 years. Who in the modern world is as good as any of those guys?
There isn't anyone. I mean, you could say CM Punk. He was pretty fucking good at what he did, but he's not as great as those other guys. He's good, very good, but not best in the world at the time. Arguably, I suppose, bit of a fucking bold statement to say you're the best in the world.
Yeah.
But he was one of the best at that time. But you can't fucking... There isn't anyone, mate. Like, they're just... Most of them are just a bloody copy of old wrestlers anyway. Do you know what I mean? You've got Bray Wyatt, who's basically a mixture of Jake the Snake, Undertaker, and Danny Spivey. You know what I mean? That's basically what Bray Wyatt is.
Yeah.
And a bit of Mick Foley in there as well. He's got a bit of that about him. But it's just basically a combination of things that they're thrown together.
Things that worked in the past.
Yeah, that's it. And it's working now.
Yeah.
If they pushed Bray Wyatt and he wasn't such a squash boy, then he would actually, start doing well for himself.
Yeah. Well, he's over, ain't he? He's one of the more talked about guys.
Main event waiting. He's that guy. Feeding with the Undertaker, like. Next thing should be that spot.
So, on a scale of evolution, you don't think Bray Wyatt is an evolution of those characters?
No, that wasn't. Yeah, that's I was covering part of the question. If
Yeah, yeah,
I
but
like that as well.
yeah, I mean like the evolution as, you know, like comparing.
Yeah, of course it is. It's bloody IRS's kid, isn't it? Same as Bo Dallas,
Mm,
and he's meant to be fucking like amazing. I mean, he's pretty good at what he does, but I mean, you got Bray Wyatt on podcast saying that he's a proper athlete. He can do so much more than what he does do. But
yeah,
obviously that goes back down to you can only do so much.
yeah. It's like a lot of them, isn't it? They're told
Yeah.
to do a certain amount, so these guys have to do a certain amount, and you know they don't
So
outshine.
it doesn't. That's it. Yeah. It does. So other wrestlers, like when Neville does his stuff, it's like whoa, because he's the only person really doing it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But that's what they do. They're getting the guy over, right? Really, when you look at it.
That's it. But Neville, British guy.
Yep. Yep. Doing really well for himself. Well, what last time I knew about it, he was feuding with Wade Barrett, who was obviously another Englishman.
Yeah.
Can you imagine it though? Like in a couple of years' time, you got like Wade Barrett and Neville in the main event of like a SummerSlam or something.
Yeah.
I doubt you'd ever see that at WrestleMania. I'd be very fucking surprised if we ever saw two English guys in the main event, but you never know. It could happen.
Yeah. Two foreigners. Well.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen.
Hmm.
They would have to be over as fuck for that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But WWE is so good at controlling, like, the way people are pushed and how they're pushed, and if you know what I mean, if they're pushed at all,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. You only make it if they say you make it.
Hmm. That's
Which-
basically how it works.
Which, yeah, well, that's it, though, isn't it? Same as anywhere. You only get pushed
Yeah.
if we want to push you.
Hmm.
If people are responding and we like you, we'll do it. Or if they're responding and we think we'll make some money out of you, we'll do it.
That's it.
We'll push you for a couple of months. You can have a feud with this dude, build up, big money match, boom, right, that's it. It's enough out of you. Did it make money? Was it a big draw? You know, what's the result now? Well, fuck it. We've done what we want to do with you. Let's bring the next guy along.
Yeah.
So, top 5 wrestlers in the WWE right now.
Mm. Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, Seth Rollins. Oh, that's difficult, that is.
Alright. Off the top of your head, top 5 British wrestlers not wrestling in the WWE.
Zack Sabre Jr., Dave Mastiff, Paul Robinson, Tommy End, and Will Ospreay.
Tommy End's Dutch.
Alright then. Fucking Dave Mastiff.
You said
Did
him.
I say him? Fuck me.
There's a certain villain I think maybe should go on that list, but then there's a few.
Ryan Knight.
Yeah. What about a certain villain with a top knot? Mr. Marty Skrull.
Mate, there's loads.
Yeah.
There's loads. I can't believe I couldn't name fucking 5 out of WWE, but there's loads of fucking British wrestlers, man.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of
Olagura,
glad to some extent. Yeah, El Ligura's fucking brilliant.
Nathan Cruz.
I'm glad to some extent that they're not small guys. I don't want to fucking not knocking any of them. Fucking hell, they work hard at what they do and they stay in shape, which is fantastic. But you know, they're not 6 foot guys, are they? They're not 6'2" or 6'4", or not all of them anyway.
No. And they're not all massively monstered up either.
No. It's good. I'm glad. Because then that means they'll stay here.
or the Americans will finally realise that it's not all about monsters. Although, you know, don't get me wrong, two monsters going at it is good. Like, I didn't get there today, but Grant went to Progress Chapter 23, and it was Dave Mastiff and Big Daddy Water, I think he said. No, Rampage Brown and Big Daddy Water, yeah. And they tore the place apart. They broke the ring in several places, and like that was a big man, mate. So I'll be watching that on Progress on Demand as soon as it comes on there. So, final thoughts, Dan. Final thoughts on our discussion today.
It's been emotional.
It's been, has it?
No, not really. I don't know, mate. You don't really usually ask me that, to be honest.
Alright.
It's good, interesting.
There's something I want to cover, right? Just out of thingy. I don't know if we've covered this any other place, but I have told you about this. Ross, my mate, said to me the other day, because I don't watch WWE, I'm not a wrestling fan. My answer to that was, fair enough, I'm a connoisseur of wrestling, right? Just like, give me your thoughts on that. Am I a wrestling fan?
Yes, of course you are. Ross is just a twat for winding you up.
No, I'm not saying you're winding me up, but yeah. Well,
he's trying to wind you up. He's trying to get you to fight. That's all he's trying to do.
It's just that it was interesting.
He doesn't believe that.
Yeah, maybe I'm not a wrestling fan in the sense that a lot of people are, you know, because I don't watch WWE. But I'm a fan of other wrestling. But does not watching WWE mean you're not a real wrestling fan?
No. Mate, you go to like a show or two like every week most of the time. So then Ross watches it on whatever he watches it on. It's not the same. It's not the same, and fucking WWE's not even wrestling anyway anymore. It's so much more than just wrestling. And when you go to a wrestling show in this country, it's a wrestling show. There's no other bullshit involved.
Yeah, obviously you get your storylines and your angles, but that's part of wrestling. Would you consider yourself a real wrestling fan, or a mainstream wrestling fan? I don't know how you'd call it. I don't know what I am anymore. I'm not a WWE fan, but I definitely love watching a lot of other wrestling.
Yeah, as soon as Undertaker's gone, mate, WWE's pretty much dead in the water for me. And that's the only reason that I watch it anymore. I watched WrestleMania, that was alright, but it don't beat that last Progress show I went to, even though I got drunk and made a tit of myself, but that's what you do when you get drunk.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that Progress show, blimey, Progress is...
Can't beat that. No. I mean, obviously if you was there, there may be like big the electricity from the crowd, because that's got a lot to do with it. It's the
Oh
energy
yeah,
from the room. Like,
yeah, the atmosphere is
yeah,
a big part
makes
of
a
the
lot
deal.
of difference.
Yeah. And ICW recently sold out, what was it, 11,000, I think, and they're looking at doing, no, 4,000, and they're looking at doing an 11,000 seater next year.
Yeah.
That's massive, bruv. That is massive.
That is good numbers, mate, definitely, yeah. I
Right?
mean, even 4,000 is fucking good.
Yeah. In a country the size of Great Britain, you got to think the WWE are going around a fucking big country with massive populations in towns, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, for us to fill the arenas they fill, you would need majority of the country to come to the event.
Yeah. For the country.
Oh no, but you would need a lot, wouldn't you? A lot of people like that we just haven't got that go to wrestling events, even when it is massively popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's fucking good news for Insane Championship Wrestling, mate.
Yeah, and that's it. Thing is, like these promotions, they're over 18s promotions, but they're the ones drawing the big numbers. They're the ones that are getting the recognition, you know?
Yep.
Because it's the adults, the grown-ups, the people that grew up with wrestling, even the casual wrestling fans are starting to pay attention now and go, hold on a minute, there's something better out there, there's a better product than what we're watching on TV, you know? And why a lot of those casual wrestling fans don't even bother watching it on TV, you know? It's like, well, it's not as good as it was, you know?
Yeah.
But they're starting to pay attention that there's a different product out there that is very fucking good. Okay, so this has been the PSDOVITO podcast number 9. We've just been talking, it was, I guess, supposed to be random, but as usual, we either end up talking about wrestling or wrestling. Normally wrestling. So, yeah. Come back next time on PSDOVITO. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, all that business, and thank you very much for watching. And don't forget, British wrestling is the best in the world right now.